Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Tuesday morning. Got a great show lined up, some great pictures and outstanding videos, all kind of stuff. So let's get started with our weather, brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin Road and Highway 77. Run by and check out all the programs they have there. You'd be just amazed at what they can do at a place like Haney Technical Center. Now, high today is going to be 80, low 63. It's going to be really nice weather. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. The whole week just really looks beautiful, and it's just, you're talking difference between night and day between this week and last week is just phenomenal. So, you know, last week was one of the ugliest weeks we've had in years for the whole week, and then all of a sudden this week it's just gorgeous. So let's enjoy it. Water temperature's at 73. River readings. Take a look at our river readings. The Apalachicola, of course, is really high. Been that way. It's about 18 foot this morning. It's not dropping very fast, folks. It's just staying high. And we're just hoping that it's going to get on down by the weekend. I'm hoping to go freshwater fishing, but we're just going to watch the river and see what it's going to do. Let's look at the Choctawhatchee at Carabel. It's taking a fast drop now. Thursday, it's looking good. Right now, it's reading a 12.6. But Wednesday and Thursday, if it's get on down like it says and don't get in the rain now, it's going to be good fishing on the Choctawhatchee. It looks like, I don't know whether I'm going to go to the Choctawhatchee or the Apalachicola River system, but right now if I had to make a decision, I'd go in that Choctawhatchee River system because it's just falling a lot faster. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. And today's tides are excellent. We're looking at May 6th. And now, first of all, let's look at the rest of the week. The rest of the week's going to be neap tide, so that's why I'm thinking about freshwater fishing this week. Today, though, we have a low tide at 12:59. Right at 1 o'clock will be the low tide. High tide will be at 2:40. We've got a 1.4 foot range, a good strong tide today, and a pretty good tide tomorrow. But then the rest of the week is going to be a little shaky there. Let's look at our fish and game forecast for today. Let's go and look at this section here. Brought to us by Mark Cowart of Edgewater Beach Realty. His number is 832-6000. Mark's an excellent outdoorsman. We're looking at our times at 6:25 to 8:25 this morning, and this evening from 6:47 to 8:47. So you want to get there early. Want to fish early this week if you can. All right. Now let's go ahead and do our marine forecast. We're looking at southwest at 5 to 10. So it's going to be a good day to be on the water. All right. I'll take care of all the marine weather. Let's go ahead and take our break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's get started on our picture parade of all the outdoors. But I want you to do something for me while you're sitting there at the table drinking your coffee, whatever, or just sitting here watching the show. Just jot down, or just in your mind, jot down the variety of different fish I'm going to show you coming through from the weekend and end of last week, okay? So let's get started with this first one. This is James Weslowski in the rain last week. I didn't get a chance to show it Friday morning or Monday morning, but in the rain last week off the pier, James Weslowski. With a nice cobia. That's his second one, I believe. Might be even third one. He's a good fisherman. Now listen, this next picture I'm going to show you is going to be one of my all-time favorite pictures for the year 2014, okay? Let's take a look at it. Check this out. All right, we're leaving a pompano from Saturday morning at Cape Sandblast, and Gal and I just had a great time. It was beautiful. Wasn't anybody else down there fishing, a couple of people walking on the beach. I got that limit, folks, of pompano in about an hour and a half. I got that whiting as a bycatch, but it was just a wonderful Saturday morning, and we were due with the weather and all to come out like this. And I got a video coming up later on this week, but we just had a great time, and those fish were good. Ate some and gave some away. All right. Now we're going to, let's go to look at another fish. Okay, Evan Zachary. I've had Evan on several times. Flounder. He was fishing. He's a good little fisherman now. Check out, this is a cooler. Took a picture of all the flounder in his cooler with his, Evan caught the biggest one, all right? Now, Junior Kelly over at Crooked Island Sound got him a mess of mullets on his cast net. Good job, Junior. Now, you know that was some good eating. The water's pretty over there, too. All right, after Junior Kelly, let's go to freshwater. This is Mark Grant with a 9-pound bass he caught and released. Good job, Mark. That was Saturday morning. All right, this is a funny one here. This is Remington Stotler. Remington caught his one pompano. He said the other 5 got away. Well, that one right there was barely legal, and I think he ate that. He's the only one that he couldn't feed very many people that one, but the other 5 got away, he said. All right, this picture fascinated me. I want to go and show it. Remember last Tuesday, that storm coming into Pensacola? This was taken over in the subdivision of Brent. We used to go play when Chip was playing baseball. We would go there and play those guys over there in Brent subdivision. And the picture was taken by Ruben Ramirez, and this is right before that flood. I just thought it was fascinating because Pensacola, we got hit hard here, but Pensacola, I mean, folks still got water in there. It's an amazing amount of water they had over there. All right, now here's my favorite grandson, Mason Woodrick, Saturday catching his first big redfish, and that one right there is too big. That was right at 28 or 29 inches. It's too big, but he was tickled. Walter and Wendy and all the kids went out and they were just catching all kind of stuff. Here's another picture up right here, and good job there. Good picture there. Gail will probably put that in a frame, I imagine. So they're having a good time. All right, offshore going. These Jeremy Cotton and Hunter Kent. That's a good mess of fish right there. Josh Anderson. Sunday, Josh Anderson and his son got some nice redfish there and a trout. Good job there, guys. What about these 3 guys? I've had them on before. This is Ashton Lewis, August Redding, and Derek Derby. Good cobia fishermen. They're some of the best cobia fishermen we have. They've had it. That's 3 good cobia right there. Out of a kayak, Sean Pittman, kayak fishing. Good job, Sean. And the kings are in. They're catching some kings. And over in the East Bay, Billy Joe Hornsby with a 21 and 23 inch. Good job there, Billy Joe. Okay, and let's see. Okay, that takes care of all our pictures right now. It's fascinating that the Josh Anderson picture, he and his son, the one I showed, they caught theirs in North Bay. Caught those redfish in North Bay. Billy Joe caught his in East Bay on Saturday and Sundays. Actually, those were caught on Sunday. So that was they were biting really good over the weekend. So that's now we got everything in that picture except what? Okay, we don't have any brim in it yet. Okay, we got about everything else. All right, let's take our break and we'll be right back. All right, well, welcome back. Glad you're with us this morning. Josh Anderson right here, adding your name to the pickle jar. All right, send your interest in any time, folks. Win all kind of prizes. We're going to give away rod and reel pretty soon, so be ready for that. Now, we're talking about outdoor stuff and how, nothing stays the same. Things constantly change in our world, and outdoors is no exception. We talk about fishing and all, how it evolves, and it sort of reminds me, I've always drawn some comparisons. I used to coach a lot of football between fishing and football. Football, you look how much it's changed over the years in its offensive and defensive schemes, but it's still, the basic fundamentals are still there. You got to block and tackle good to win a ball game. And in fishing, the fundamentals are still there. You got to know where the fish are. But some of the things that are changing are the baits and different little techniques and all that we catch fish with. And this past weekend, catching those pompano was just fascinating to me. How I'm going to change as a pompano fisherman a little bit in the bait, and I've always had really good success doing one way, but I had better success doing this way. So stay tuned. Later on this week, we're going to talk about how it evolved. And that leads me the same way to floundering lights. Now May, to me, when April is sort of as a transition month. You're getting off March, April, sort of transition when the weather sort of like it was, real stormy. But May has just always been an outstanding outdoor month, and I just love May. And it brings about, I think, about fly fishing and freshwater fishing in May, and also floundering starting. And so those the 3 F's right there really getting May started off for me. So I'm going to show you this video. I've shown it to you before, but I want you to look again at this floundering light, how to set up a floundering light and get ready. Flounder in, folks. The people who are already getting a flounder, you saw some. I showed Evan Zachary caught some. He and his family. So the lights that have changed. I'm still old school in the light. Now pretty soon I will evolve into one of those new light systems, have it all set up and all. But this is old school lighting, and I have it set up. I set it up on my boat and all. So let's go ahead and check out this video and go ahead and start getting your floundering light ready. Go ahead and start getting your gig sharpening and fly fishing, start getting stuff ready for that, because May is here. All right, we are in the first week of May. It'll be over in a couple of days. The first week will be over. Let's go ahead, Jeff. Let's roll this video. All right, this is another in the series of floundering lights. You know, we talked about buying new floundering lights already rigged up and all, but I've always sort of enjoyed doing things myself and making things. So I made my own floundering light years ago. I hate to say how old this floundering light is, but I want to show it to you. And it's been very practical. It's worked great. I just want to show you how I made it, and maybe you might be inspired by it, or you might be even laughing at it. But this is okay. I'm going to start down here first of all with the bulb. This is the old-fashioned 1,000 lumen bulb. They don't make these anymore, but man, this has been a good one. Of course, then I epoxied it all up, got it all. Make sure you know he's going to get water in it, but this has been like this for years now. My wires run through here. Now my floater, folks, my dad always told me just make do with what you have, and what I had was this lid on a ice chest. So it sits here like that, and this is lid on a 5-gallon bucket to stop the glare from coming up in my face. You can see this is some old fencing material I had left over from my old PVC fencing job I did. So you can see I don't have a lot of money. I always use stainless on it. I didn't on my hinge right here. I might need to replace it this year, but that wouldn't be any trouble. Okay, so now you see how it's going to work. It's going to float out in front of the boat, and what you got to have now on these rigs, you got to have some little bit of flexibility, because at times at night you're going to sort of bounce a little bit, and you're going to go ahead and have to be able to be flexible. Okay, so what do you have here? This hinge, that's the purpose of it. Okay, it's going to be like that. And then when I attach it to the boat right here, all right, I'm going to have to, it's hard to do out of land, it's a lot easier in water. Basically what I have right here, you'll see, okay, now here's the other hinge, it's double hinged, okay? And what I basically do, I just use these big old clamps like this. I've done it all kind of ways, but this works good like this. I put a couple of clamps on it, and okay, on each side, and get it balanced out. So it's going to sit up in the water like this right here. And it'll go back and forth in the water. I have it more toward the bow on either side. But the clamps will hold it. I've used C-clamps a lot of times too. C-clamps can work too. A C-clamp on both sides. But use the clamps I found out to be a lot easier. Okay? Now on the plug-in, you know, the alligator clips and all always work good. But this year, I had this done. It's just going to be a little bit easier, I think, on me. So let's watch this. I'm going to turn around. I want to show you how I plug it in, okay? Let me lay it up here. I went to professional fiberglass, and I asked Paul if he would help me out on this and put me a little plug in the boat, okay? A little plug right here, just like your cigarette lighter in the car, and it just plugs in. Now, all right, my battery's back here. It's real convenient just plug it in and out. I plug it in when I'm floundering and when I take it out when I'm not. I'm going to plug in right here. And you'll see how simple this rig is. So you got it plugged in. Of course, it don't look real bright now, but it puts out 1,000 lumens. And the most important thing now, you don't want to have the bulb lit and put it in the water, because it's going to crack on you. It heats up real fast. In fact, it's already hot right now. It's been lit 10 seconds. So make sure you always have it unplugged, put in the water. You always turn the light on when the bulb is in the water. That's rule number 1 in floundering. All right, next let's talk about the gig itself. Again, this is a homemade rig I put together. Like I said, I enjoy doing it. The gig itself is a 5-prong stainless steel. Now, you can see this is probably about 15 years old, this one is, but it costs a little bit, but it'll last me my lifetime. So it's really strong. Then I got a 10-foot pole here, good strong sturdy pole, made out of cedar really. And what happened right here, I just started putting a fiberglass cloth over it, and a fiberglass three times, matter of fact, 3 times I fiberglass this. And this is super strong here, because this is where the stress, if you get a really big one, you're gonna have some stress as you push down on it. And so you want it really strong here in the joint. And also, I just went ahead and put some fiberglass on it, just sort of waterproof it a little bit. It's not completely waterproof, but in decent shape. Now on the handle, I put some fiberglass cloth here just for gripping, okay? I've got a good strong grip here, and this is a guide hand when you really push down and guide it, so you want to grip on it. So this is how I did my gig, and been really pleased with it, real balanced, and really lightweight, okay? Now it doesn't matter if you have an old boat like this old Carter Craft here, or a new boat like my newest Panhandle Outdoors edition. Flounder gigging is an awful lot of fun, especially in late summer and early fall. I'm Winston Chester for Panhandle Outdoors. All right, welcome back to the final segment of Panhandle Outdoors. Glad to hear this morning. Got some good stuff coming up now. We saw the pictures and we saw how to set up a floundering light. Now let's go into a section on where to go fly fishing. We talk about fly fishing a lot, and you know, Scott Lindsay last week wrote a story. If you read Scott Lindsay on a regular basis, I was going up to the nursing home the other afternoon to see Mom. I walked up there, an acquaintance of mine that I've met through his wife is up there, and he's up there every day. I walked up the sidewalk. He said, "Well, here is the high-tech redneck." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Have you read Scott Lindsay's article?" So that's what Scott called me, the high-tech redneck, and I'm proud to be called that. But Scott brought up a good point. How, you know, I show on Google Earth the different things you can see and all on Google Earth. I was showing some channels really below on the south end of Black's Island. You can actually see that on Google Earth. So I decided after, you know, every Friday on the fishing report we do that. I decided let's go ahead and show you some spots where to go fly fishing here in the Florida Panhandle in our viewing area. So and I'm going to, now I was telling Jeff I could show you 100 spots and all, but I'm not going to be real specific right now. I'm going to show you some general areas, and I'm going to come back later. I can't get them all in today. I'm going to, during the month of May, I'm going to show you some good fly fishing spots, just a few at a time that you may be familiar with or may not be familiar with. But right now, it'll just be some general pictures. I'm going to start toward the eastern end and do it sort of randomly and work toward the western end. But you know, the mayflies hatch down in Weewall, and that's a whole different story there. So I'm going to just hold off on that. But I'm going to show you some other places to go. And I'm going to show you like a general picture, then the second picture will be sort of zoomed in on it. So the first picture here, this is Lake Talquin, okay? This named after Tallahassee and Quincy, Talquin. That's the Ocklawaha River up top that flows into it. Big slough and all, and it runs sort of a north and south, sort of a northeast southwest, but it was built in 1950 for the power to go to Tallahassee and Quincy, the Talquin Electric Co-op. So I'm going to zoom in now, okay? And now I'm trying to keep everything here in the center. Now I've zoomed in here, and that road coming in from the left, right there in the middle of the screen, that's coming on down. That is called the old Hopkins Landing, and my granddad ran that landing for many, many years. And that cove, that's called Ocklawaha. Okay, it is a creek that comes in from the top left right there. Okay, that cove on the top left. That slough, there's some great bass fishing, some outstanding fly fishing. And as a kid, I would paddle up there, up that creek, and I had one of my first encounters there with a big old water moccasin up in there, one-on-one. I was in a very small boat. To me, he was huge, but I was down at a water level when I saw him. He was coming straight toward me with a head cocked and a mouth open. And I never will forget that. I was probably about 13 years old, by myself. But anyway, up in that area, excellent fly fishing. So the Lake Talquin is tributaries and all, Ocklawaha Creek, that is all good areas. Okay, now let's go to the next area right here. This is the lower end. This is the Ocklawaha River where it flows. That's a dam going across Highway 20, and then the Ocklawaha River comes on down. It actually comes on down into the Gulf of Mexico, but now let's zoom in on it. This is Teloja. You go down below Hospital and Teloja, and then you see, and that road on the bottom left-hand corner, that's called Whitehead Drive. Okay, it used to be a Whitehead Road. And the old Whitehead family, that family homesteaded that area. Now, you're talking about a wild and woolly place. You know, when I saw the movie Deliverance, I wasn't that surprised at it when I saw the movie Deliverance, because I'd been exposed to those kind of people from growing up. They were, you know, not they acted that particular way, but their mentality and just the way they were. They were bad people or good people. They were just way back in the woods people, and and I saw them growing up. But you get down there around old Whitehead Landing and get up in those creeks and all, it was very. Teologia Creek comes into it, but the fly fishing where the willow trees comes over the Ocklawaha River, I long for the day where I'm going to go back there one day. I don't know, it'll be this year or next year, but when I retire, I'm going to go back up there and just fish on those willow trees, because when they're hatching there, it's just beautiful. So that area right there is an excellent place to go. So that's Whitehead Landing. You go to Hosford, go south on 67 in Teologia, then you go you go east on Highway 67, it keeps on going, and it says Whiteheads, and it's really a landing. Right below that landing called the Cave In, and all you folks over there, if you want to get on the lower Ocklawaha River, that's a good place to go. All right, next one, let's go over here to Lake. I'm just going to show you a picture of Lake Seminole, and I could show you 100 places to fish Lake Seminole, but I know Wilbur Miller and some of those guys do a lot of fishing up there. And it goes into Georgia. You got to make sure you're fishing on the Florida side now, unless you got your Georgia license. But we'll talk more about Lake Seminole later. And now, of course, a couple of these are obvious here. I'm just going to show you Weewall, and up there, Japola, where it comes in and all, and the west arm north of Weewall, that west arm right up there. Bill, Allen, and I have had some excellent fly fishing in there. And we're going to zero in on the Weewall and the river system around Weewall later on, and just show you some specific spots. But you can't be a fly fisherman if you don't fish around that Weewall area. Let's go over here to moving over Deer Point Lake. Deer Point Lake, just a lot of places out there. Bayou, Georgia area, the Cedar Creek area, the Tharp Fish Camp. The fly fishing is really good late in the afternoon with the mayflies up there. I'm looking at the clock now. We're going to run out of time. I had about 12 of them. I think I've showed you 4, so that's what I'm talking about. We're going to continue. We just sort of stretch this out a little bit and show you some specific places on where to go fly fishing. But get ready to do some fly fishing. I've got some kids that really enjoy it, and I know you will too. Got to get out here, folks. Thank you all for watching our show. You do something good for someone today, and you have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.